They come armed to the teeth with some of the most sophisticated weapons available, and they leave behind anguish, torment, displacement, and death. The latest attack in the Yelewata community in Benue State has left more than 100 people dead, dozens wounded, and thousands displaced. And the sheer horror and gruesomeness of it all has sent ripples across Nigeria and the world, and even to the Vatican, where the Pope has sought to intercede with prayers. President Tinubu has sent in teams of intelligence officers, police, and the army. But so far, questions remain unanswered. What is behind these massacres? Is it the clashes between farmers and herders over dwindling pasture in a state ravaged by climate change, illegal mining, and land grabs? Or is it something more sinister, menacing, forbidding, and evil, as some observers have suggested? What are the proven motives for these attacks? And why do the number of assaults keep growing in frequency, even when the police and the army are engaging the attackers full on and regularly? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now on the line from Makurdi by the governor of Benue State, Father Hyacinth Aliyah. Governor, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And first of all, you have our deepest sympathies for the horrors that have been unleashed on your state. I expect you're still in shock as a result, but do you know how many people have been killed?
Guys, thank you so very much and good evening. Again, my heart goes out to the victims of this insane carnage. We don't have any necessity for such a bloodbath. And when it happens, too many things come to play. Even hope itself seems to look bleak. I thank all Nigerians who have sympathized with us, and I maintain their words of sympathies and in different shapes are journeying with us on this on this trip at this time of sorrow. Definitely, we understand fully well that the Yelewata attacks happens to be one of the we of 59. So from 59 this afternoon, it's moved all the way to 120 corpses were buried. 18 are yet to be buried. 2 are in the morgue. 4 more bodies were found in the bushes, and quite a number of burnt bodies in different rooms within the community are turned into ashes, and we cannot even recognize them. So at least for the bodies that are recognizable, we're talking of 151 dead.
Well, again, I mean, we're deeply shocked and extremely sorry to hear that. Do you know at this point, without any doubt, who has carried out these attacks or who has been carrying them out? Because, I mean, this is not the first time, is it?
No, it's not the first time, Charles. Let me build a context to this. In this very local government of Guma local government shares boundary with Nasarawa State, and internally it shares boundary with Makurdi local government. It is on the way from a very highway, dual carriage from Makurdi to Abuja, right by the side of the road. It's a very sizable town. The Yelewata area, it's a very sizable town, and it's within
I think we're having a bit of a challenge with the connection there. Sometimes you get these interruptions on the line, the internet line, and even the satellite line sometimes gets interrupted because of weather patterns and so on, and that's a real pity, because the governor was at a point where he's talking about some really interesting things. Can we hear the governor now, please? Yeah, please go on, Governor. We lost you
yes,
for a minute.
I'm hearing you well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Guma local government shares border with Nasarawa State, and these are unmined borders, and are quite extended. The Nasarawa border extends in.
Please, base your words to your hearing from this Reverend Father. Does he look serious at all? This governor, this Reverend Father that calls himself governor, does he look serious? Does he look at what he's saying? That they send mobile policemen to man the checkpoint, against terrorists, jihadists that will enter barracks, destroy a whole barracks. What are a mobile policemen to them? And you are lying that since they came in, killings have reduced. What killings has reduced in your land? Based on what, is happening in Benue State, thousands of people are being killed. Even the Bishop of Kaduna came out in national television, told us the mayhem, the carnage that is happening. Look at you lying again. Who is this? I've asked so many questions. Who is this man? The interviewer, even telling him what is happening, he's trying to paint words. He said that the president told him, to organize peace talk with the communities, with the jihadists, for them to make peace. Make peace with jihadists in your own land. Make peace with terrorists in your own land. Now he answered the interviewer that yes, that is what they are trying to do, to make peace. Now the interviewer now asks him, which people are you making peace with? Are you making peace with the jihadists, with the terrorists? How are you going to know them? He started painting words in order to please the president, in order to please his party, APC, in order to please his position, this governorship position, to the detriment of the thousands and millions of death of these people. Did you see why? You see this Reverend Father? In fact, you are the worst thing that has happened to Benue. You are a disgrace, the highest disgrace to priesthood. Anyway, no wonder you left your priesthood to go and join politics in order to, to destroy your people. In order to destroy, you are a real disgrace. God, what is all this? Please listen and tell me if you think that this man, there is atom of truth on what this man is saying. On what this man is saying. Just listen to him first and finish up, and let me know what you think in the comment section. This man is a real. Please cool down and continue watching this man, this so-called Reverend Father Governor. If there is atom of truth, even look at the way he was talking nonchalantly. Does he look like somebody that millions of people are being killed in his state? Look at, because of your occultic APC, you are protecting that occultic party and that of the president in the detriment of your people. God will surely judge you. Even the interviewer knows that you're lying. That Arise interviewer know you're lying. He will ask you questions, you will be painting it. In fact, God will surely judge you for everything that you're causing in Benue State. People will not understand why I'm so angry with this man. Do you know that there was a time, a lot of people were hiding in Benue State. This man came out and said that nothing is happening, that people are splitting things, that people are blowing things out of proportion. This man, just to protect your position, this APC, this your party, the president, you just want to pay them good to the death of your people. No problem, but just look at the way he was talking, and they were asking questions, formulating lie to say. You will surely be judged, just like I say, you will be judged. Of course, we all know that. If not that very dark man went there, went there by himself to go and show us pictures of those carnage that happened there. A lot of us wouldn't have known. And that was why he see him coming here to me. Let's finish up the clip and hear the Iberibe Nzuzu that this Reverend Father that is coming out of his mouth. Please do wait to like and share it, okay, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
To the other local governments, including Gwe West and Agatu primarily. A context behind this, the anxieties we started having in this local government spanned as far back as 22, 23 years ago. But how it happened was the herders clashed with the farmers. This took quite a long period of time, and then eventually, in the last, say, 12 years, it shifted. It moved into the armed herders versus the entire communities. So again, the farmers were affected. They were every now and then driven off from their homes destroyed, and then they had to leave their farmlands as well. And since it's been there for quite some time, a good number of people were tired of seeing the repeat every now and then shifted into towns, but were still manning their farmlands. Of late, what we experience and what we see, it's more abhorrent. It is much and stronger, way beyond farmer-herder crisis. We are being attacked by bandits and terrorists. Definitely, when a thief comes to your house, there's no gainsaying that. There must be someone from within or nearby who knows how to around, and then he does what his art is, what he wants to do. So these had persisted for quite some time, but the level of what we have experienced in the last 2 months, it's so much alarming.
Right.
When we took over our administration in 2023 of May, 17 local governments in the entire state were in the front lines of attacks. And all the attacks were led by the herders, the armed herders. We fought quite hard to bring the numbers of the local government in the front lines down from 17 to 9 local governments. And we kept on the struggle and the fight, then to have every part of it cleared from the state. Unfortunately for us, the last 2 months had been very disastrous. From the axis of Sankara includes 3 local governments, Katsina Ala, Ukum, and Logo, and they share border with Guma local government by this axis coming down this way towards Makurdi. The attacks now shifted straight down to Guma, but we quelled that down. But by this time, it had already moved from Guma local government to Gwe West. Gwe West shares border internally with other local governments, including Apa,
I understand. Sorry, Governor, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I mean, I understand you're trying to explain it to us, and we appreciate you're trying to put that in some perspective. But we've got to move on because we're losing time. We understand that, I think you mentioned that Yelawata town, where this latest attack took place, borders another state, Nasarawa, and I understand that it has a number of military checkpoints and police posts. I mean, is there any information on how these attackers managed to breach those military and police posts and successfully carry out attacks that we're told lasted for several hours?
Yeah, it lasted for 2 hours. Right at Yelwata itself, there is a military checkpoint and then the police as well. But here's how it happened. The river is not too far by this axis. So we understand that they came by the route of the river. Now, they were pushed back from Apa, and then as they were moving now towards Nasarawa State, this place, Yelwata, shares border with Nasarawa State. It is on their way en route to Nasarawa State that the heinous attacks now happened. When they got to this town, the first effort they did was to go attack the military and the police who usually man the road and around there. But they had a big pushback, so they now ran back. But they came in numbers. They usually come in very huge numbers.
Right. Right. I can understand that they've essentially overwhelmed the police and the army there, because I understand there were probably about 15 or 20 of them. And I mean, Governor, when similar types of attacks took place in a couple of weeks ago in Benue State, President Tinubu ordered the Chief of Army Staff to move to the state and take personal charge of the offensive against these attackers. I mean, what happened? Has he been unable to get on top of things? Is he still in Benue State?
When the pronouncement was made by our president, very promptly we had the visitation by the Chief of Army Staff, and his visit was quite effective too. 3 mobile units were shifted to Benue State, and their deployment was made to various parts of the local government in the front lines of the attacks. Again, I had stopped where I said we fought this tooth and nail, and then got to a point where we were now just trying to get through with the 6 remaining local governments. Where the attacks had happened was in Sankara axis. When the deployment was made, a number of camps took place. We had less attacks from the 3 local governments by Sankara axis, and now there was this shift that came down to this local government that earlier on had experienced less attacks and relatively non-attack. So the stage back they made is a problem we're wrestling with now. The 3 separate units that came to town contributed so immensely. But that was not the only contribution that the President Tinubu ordered to come down to Benue. The increase in the manpower and also a number of other logistics had accompanied the military, and it was of tremendous support. Before this time, the federal government had been supporting too. I think it's ideal that we acknowledge that, and we are grateful.
I mean, people are still being slaughtered,
and all the other teams in there.
I said clearly the support the support isn't enough because people are still being killed. Now, President, sorry, Governor, we're fast running out of time, and I've got to move on. President Tinubu has asked you to organize peace meetings between what he called warring communities. Is that something you can do? Is that something that's realistic in the context of what is happening in Benue State?
Yeah, in part it is. Wherein communities, for some reason, when groups within the state are completely unified, they're able to attack any force at all. But that is not the case here in the state. There are certain differences that require ironing out. The president mentioned sorting out the differences can be referred to this as well. So in this context, it is appropriately correct.
But however, you mentioned at the start of, sorry, Governor, you mentioned at the start of this conversation, I apologize for interrupting you, but you mentioned at the start that you were being overrun by bandits. I mean, are you going to be able to get bandits to sit down with community people to discuss peace?
Charles, please, when you ask a question, you want some answers. This would be very helpful. This would be very helpful. Suppression wouldn't help us here. We're trying to find solution to this. I earlier on had made blended a template that we had farmer header crisis. We used to do our own reconciliation. We sorted ourselves out within different communities. So I think, it's an invitation for us to go back there now and do what traditionally we were doing, and calm and peace were in Benue State. Now that the fight again is taken to a very different level, kind of an onion layer, different dynamics will be employed in here. Today, we had the visit from the Inspector General of the police, also the CDS, and they all deployed their own people. And in fact, the CDS was very quick to say, if the tact they had employed it's not working, they are going to bring in a new dynamic way of thinking and action and then execution. And I think that is going to be of tremendous support. And we cannot identify the bandits, but what we need is peace. When we all come together to think as one, to plan as one, and then to man our own borders, to take it against those who are coming to attack us right at the front lines, the dynamic becomes changed, and then we become victorious as well. So we remain very, very hopeful that the visit that is made today, it's going to bring a new breathing of this hope. The president's visit come Wednesday this week again, it's going to be another higher level, not only of hope, and not only of just him sympathizing with us, but for him seeing exactly what is going on in the state. He's already briefed, he understands everything, but then his presence would matter because presence matters. So his visit is again going to create that distinction. And then he would also interact with a number of stakeholders here, letting him know where it is hurting us most. And I'm sure he will not only listen, he will do more, plus what he'd done in the past.
Okay, on that note, I want to thank you very much indeed, Father.